And you ain't seen nothing yet because, among other things, what is this? This is No Kings Week. That's this week. Remember, this upcoming weekend, Saturday, June 14th, is likely to be the largest set of protests yet against Trump and the Trump administration, and Trump knows it's coming. You remember that really giant day of protests against Trump back on April 5th? Remember that huge day of protests? The hands-off protests? There were over 1,000 protests scheduled that day all over the country against Trump. Well, this weekend, this Saturday, June 14th, there are already more than 1,800 protests scheduled against Trump all around the country. It's going to be like twice the size of that massive day of protests that we saw on April 5th. I mean, Trump is going to do his military parade for himself in Washington that day. Interestingly, and I think importantly, there is not a No King's Day protest in Washington, D.C. this Saturday because of Trump's military parade. They're going to do like a flagship national protest in Philadelphia, but there are more than 1,800 other protests against Trump planned all over the country. It looks like there are going to be more and larger protests against Trump this weekend, this Saturday, than we have yet seen on any other day. And he knows it. He cannot handle the amount of protest against him now, and it is about to increase exponentially.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Raquel.
Democrats are hoping you're just as stupid as they are. That's why they continue to push the lie that these anti-ICE riots are mostly peaceful. You've got a couple of functioning brain cells and maybe a set of eyes. You know damn well that these protests are anything but protests. These are violent riots. But these really aren't about immigration. These riots are all about, well, the organizations that are funding them. This is organized chaos, and it's being funded by countries that hate us. And if our federal government was actually serious about getting to the bottom of all of this, they'd begin opening up RICO cases, tracking the money. Because if we don't, the next 3.5 years of this administration is going to be hell. They're going to continue to conduct these well-orchestrated, chaotic scenes. And, well, they're well-funded by groups and countries that despise the United States. So let's get serious. Let's start following the money.
A fourth day of rallies and protests on the streets of Los Angeles.
It was a peaceful rally. What is going on right now is also peaceful.
Here we are expecting rallies later on.
When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
In Los Angeles, there is a new crowd of protesters that has been building.
CNN had it that these were rallies. Now they've become protests. I'm afraid that by tonight they become riots. If we don't have the ability to stand up and stop this violence before it consumes a great city like Los Angeles, then there's no telling where this could spread.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Raquel.
I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years, the Democrats mismanaged Congress, they mismanaged COVID, they mismanaged the economy, they mismanaged inflation, they mismanaged the national debt, they mismanaged Afghanistan. The party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. I know these people. They think women, they think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now.
We've been lied to from the very beginning. The politicians, California politicians, the mayor of Los Angeles, our governor, have completely failed in that nothing was happening in the beginning. It was allowed to spiral out of control, and then they have created this narrative that completely defies facts and a timeline that we know happened. And they keep calling it a peaceful protest, mostly peaceful, whatever they want to call it. But the reality is that law enforcement officers are being attacked, property is being destroyed, and it is out of control violence that really they're trying to deny for political gain.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot, nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton, what happened in Inglewood. So, first of all, get it straight. And don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw.
Sucking sons of a bitches that think that you're just gonna go and fucking arrest a bunch of protesters because they're out there doing something you're too afraid to fucking do. They're out there fighting for our freedom, and they're out there fighting for our right for free speech, cause fuck you. What? What's that? All 2,000 of you fucking National Guardsmen, you brave-ass fucking soldiers, you think you're gonna march in those streets and tell those people to shut the fuck up? That is what you decided to fight for. You chose to defend us against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And
well, maybe, just maybe, somebody needs to tell you that you are the domestic terrorist. Your whole group. Yo, these people are so nuts. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. That's why I sent in the National Guard to squash the problem, believe me.
You fucking failed. And that's why they're out there on those streets. So who the fuck are you to tell them to
fucking protest! That's what we're standing for, bro. Come on. We want this to fucking get done. Keep it protest! Come on! Keep it fucking moving! Keep it fucking protest! Keep it fucking moving! Keep it fucking moving! It's a protest! Come on! It's a fucking protest! Don't do it! It's not left! It's not left!
Hi guys, I called on this press conference to let everyone know that I am in fact retarded. I know most of you already knew that, but just in case any of you still has any doubt whatsoever on whether I'm a retard or not, I want you to know that I am retarded. Oh, and Gavin Newsom is also retarded. He's super retarded. Oh, and every single Democrat too. All Democrats are retarded. That's it.
What's actually happening is they're buying voters. That's really what's happening. It's like a giant voter fraud scam. They're importing voters. It's easy to understand if you look at basic incentives. The basic incentive here is the more illegals that the Democrats can bring in, the more likely they are to win. So that's what they're going to do. That's what they have been doing, and it worked in California. California's supermajority Dem. And look at all the companies that are leaving California.
Yeah.
I mean, In-N-Out just announced they're leaving.
Yep.
Their headquarters leaving California.
They're moving to Tennessee.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy.
What's actually happening is they're buying voters. That's really what's happening. It's like a giant voter fraud scam. They're importing voters. It's easy to understand if you look at basic incentives. The basic incentive here is the more illegals that the Democrats can bring in, the more likely they are to win. So that's what they're going to do. That's what they have been doing, and it worked in California. California is supermajority Dem. And look at all the companies that are leaving California.
Yeah.
I mean, In-N-Out just announced they're leaving.
Yep.
Their headquarters leaving California.
They're moving to Tennessee. Are hardworking, good people, and they're the backbone of our city, and they should have access to all the things that we have access to. And I just don't think they understand that it's a political pawn. I don't think they understand.
It's a political game.
This is not done for compassion and kindness.
No.
This is just done to ensure that it stays blue.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's essentially a bribery with your tax dollars.
Yes, this is why the Dems will not even deport criminals.
Yeah.
Because every criminal deported is a lost vote.